Hello. Oops, how do I go back? Anyway, hi, my name is Joelle Alexendar, and I am the author of The Danish Way of Parenting. How many of you have heard of The Danish Way of Parenting? A few people? How many of you know that Denmark has been voted as one of the happiest countries in the world for over 40 years in a row? Okay, a few more people. I believe that one of the reasons for this is because of the way they raise their children. And I've devoted my life's work to conceptualizing some of the things I believe they do that are so special in their parenting and education model. Now, the Danish Way of Parenting has been translated into 33 countries, but not in Danish. I spoke to a Swedish man the other day who had never heard of it. And that's because for them, it is so normal, they don't understand why the rest of the world thinks it's interesting, which is a huge compliment. Now, some people think, but I live in Portugal, or I live in another country. How is it possible that we could use what this Nordic country has? I lived many years in Rome, I've lived in many other countries, and I can tell you that these values work anywhere. I've just come out with a follow-up, which is a practical guide to the Danish Way of Parenting. And in this, I have a chapter dedicated to one of the biggest problems of our time. Can anyone guess what it is? So my daughter was getting bigger. I was parenting the Danish way. Everything was going wonderfully. And then I felt it. The tidal wave coming. I could hear it. I knew I couldn't put it off much longer. She was the last one that did not have a phone in her class. And as much as I put it off and as much as I wanted to wait, I knew that I couldn't put it off forever. How many parents can relate to this feeling? So, what happened? I was terrified, like we all are. We are inundated with negativity. We are inundated with fear. Ban, suicide, pedophiles, brain rot, addiction. Why would we give these phones? I was terrified, and yet I felt that I had to deal with this. Now, as a parenting expert, I looked at all the research, and the research was clear across the board. American Psychological Association, UNESCO. They all said that having conversations was very important before you hand your child a phone. It's like we give keys to a car. How much preparation do we give before we give keys to a car? We train them. We teach them to drive. We drive with them. But we hand over a phone with nothing. It's a little strange. So, knowing that all of the experts were saying, have these conversations, discuss all of the things they may experience, the dangers. This is the best protection long term. This is the best protection. How many of us grew up in the digital world? I didn't. I know how to tell my child to cross the road, to be careful. I know how to tell my child to be a kind and careful person, but I have no idea how to do this in the digital world. So what do? We often just ignore it, or we put it off. And what happens is this is now a rite of passage for our kids. When they go into the digital world, which they will, no matter what we decide to do, whether you wait till they're 16 or you start early, at some point they will enter the digital world. This is a rite of passage which we can leverage. So I did what I usually do. I looked to Denmark. I was like, well, what are they doing there? I wasn't living in Denmark at the time. And I was blown away by the digital citizenship program that they had in schools. And I thought, wow, I really, really want to give this to my child. How do I do this? I have no idea what they're teaching in schools. None of us really know exactly what they're teaching in schools. And yet so many parents outsource this knowledge to the schools. We hope the school is going to teach it. But our children really need us as their guide. So I spent 2 years researching the program. I worked with psychologists, the Media Council, and I created a very thorough program for my daughter. And I told her, let's make a deal. We are going to go through these cards, these conversation cards. We're going to make an agreement that you will be part of, and then you can get a phone. Now, how many people know how willing children are to do anything to get a phone? Cut my arm off? I will do that. What do you want me to do? It was an amazing moment where she was so willing to learn. She was so willing to listen. She was so willing to have these discussions. And it was a huge education for me. And this is what I think parents are missing. We don't know. We need to learn together with our kids so that we can prepare them. The feedback so far has been incredible, but what is most meaningful for me is when I get the feedback from the kids. I've interviewed 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds that tell me, I'm so happy my parents are showing interest and talking to me about this. So the idea is we want to empower our kids. This is a very different approach from the banning and the controlling, and don't get me wrong, I agree with legislation. Denmark has no phones in schools. I don't think we should have phones in schools, but we can't close our eyes. So I think of it as it's their hero's journey. We are their mentor to become the hero of their own story so that they can protect themselves when no one is there to help them. Now, whether you're interested in trying these cards or looking into this chapter, I still very much urge you to try to connect more with your kids in the digital world. And the reason for this is because the more you connect, the more you build trust. And that trust is the foundation from where you can give these teachings to help them protect themselves. I'm going to talk about 3 things from the Danish way of parenting. It's actually 6 letters. Parent, but we don't have time for all 6, so I'm going to touch on 3. The first is play. We know that play is one of the most important things that a child can engage in. This is a huge value in Denmark. I've written about it in my books. We now see scientifically as well, the world is catching on. Believe it or not, free play is teaching children some of the most fundamental, important things they can possibly learn. They need time for play. Now, what we've discovered, I did a big research project with Lego, and we found that children are engaging in something called fluid play. That is, they move seamlessly through the digital world into the physical world. For them, these worlds are not that different. The play spaces are not that different. And while we absolutely need balance, the thing you don't hear so much about, because negativity spreads twice as fast as positivity, there are some benefits to digital play. And again, this is where our kids are growing up. So I urge you, one of the first places you can start having these conversations, be curious. So many of us, we see our kids playing a game and we say, ugh, what is that terrible game? Tell me who can relate. When they see their child playing a game, it's like judgment, right? Yes, I know. Because we hear it, and so it's natural for us. That's the first thing. But this is a wonderful place, something as simple as, why do you like this game? And listen. Why do you like this hero of your game? You'd be amazed how their eyes light up and they love to talk about this. Play games. Whew, this is really tough because many of us don't like video games or we don't like some of these things. But you will find, as I say in regular play, don't play games you don't like. If you don't like dinosaurs in real life, don't play dinosaurs. But there's probably something you can find. So for example, my daughter liked word games. So we found this was something very bonding. I managed to find a little game with my son that I could manage to play. And why this is important is because when you are there with them, you become an ally, not an enemy. And in those moments, you have opportunities to point out some of these crucial things they need to know, like, who are you friends with in this game? Do you know do you know that people are not always who they say they are on these games? You have a way in to impart this knowledge. Learn terminology. Oh my gosh, the language is changing so much these days. I can barely keep up. This is not any country. This is like English, skippity, grinding, low-key. Learn terminology. They think it's really funny when you speak their lingo. And in Denmark, they don't completely ban screens. They don't have them in schools, it's true. But in play schools, screens are absolutely part of the life. There's just a good rule of thumb, and that is try to choose games that have a good mix of creativity, physical, and social. There's a lot of things that can intermix other aspects to the positive elements of play. Reframing. How many people know that there's really good weather in Denmark? No. Danish people are very good at reframing. That means they are good at finding positive details that exist in what seems like a negative situation. And it's a part of their education, it's part of their parenting, and I believe it's a bit why they score happier, because this is a skill. Why reframing? What is it, and why is it going to help? We are programmed as humans with something called negativity bias. That means that this served us when we were on the savannah, when we were evolving, and we needed to look out for snakes and things that could kill us. So we're primed to see negativity. It's one of the reasons why news, negative headlines, clickbait, goes twice as fast as positive clickbait, because we're primed to see it. This is why it's being used. When we become aware of it, we can learn to reprogram ourselves. And reframing helps in feelings of well-being, and it helps in connection, particularly in the relationship with our kids. Because all we're seeing are the negativities, and we're missing these crucial opportunities to connect. This is the new digital savannah. We see the lions, we see the snakes, we see the monsters, we see the addiction, we see it, it's so clear for us. But what we're missing are opportunities. We're missing opportunities of what else there is. There are positive things. My daughter spent 10 minutes learning the drums last week with her phone. My son plays chess. He keeps in contact with so many different friends. The idea is you want to focus on some of the positives, and you will connect more and be able to develop your relationship. So, brains, yes, they're affected. Try next time you see your child, don't say no immediately. Say no. Learn, get curious, ask, don't judge. Think quality versus quantity. My daughter learning the drums, that was quality for me. That's a mix of the real world, the digital world. She's learning something. Praise for quality tech use. It does exist. It is the future. It's where they will work. We have lots of people telling us all the bad things, but try to find some of the positives too. And be curious, not furious. Things happen, accidents happen. It can be very natural for us to get scared and get mad. It's something that I've also had to work on. It helps so much when you just ask what happened rather than get angry. Hygge, who's heard of hygge? Hygge? Yes, okay. Whew. The Swedish person knows hygge. I'm happy to see that. So hygge became a phenomenon when the Danish way of parenting came out. I used to think I should have called it the hygge way of parenting. Hygge, essentially for me, what it means for the rest of the world is I consider it a psychological space that you enter into. Yes, you light candles, and yes, you have cozy food, but for me, it's much more a psychological space where you leave out negativity, work stress, drama, and you focus on the moment and the people you care about to be present together with them. Hygge is ingrained in the Danish culture. It's even in the school system. So they do it naturally, but for us, we have to work a little bit at it. But I promise you, it's a simple concept that makes a huge difference. Now, how this relates to having these conversations and connecting in the digital world, I'm just going to give you some tips for how to make it happen. 1, make it cozy. Put out their favorite snacks. Put out something they like to drink, and sit down to set up to have some of these conversations. Learn together. I have to say, we don't know everything. Maybe one of the hardest things for parents to realize in this journey in terms of teaching our kids is that we have to accept that we don't know. So coming in on their level and asking them questions and learning from your child will create, they trust you more, they see you as vulnerable, because guess what? They know you don't know. Across the board, what parents and kids have told me is, I can't believe how much they know, and I can't believe how much they don't know. Kids know a lot about technology. They don't know much about how to be a decent person online. Don't take it for granted that they know. So it's a really huge opportunity to learn from each other. So avoid being a know-it-all. It's hygge, not homework. It's not a test. It's not an exam. And finally, I would say about hygge, I've been talking a little bit about digital hygge. Make media-free zones. Make dinner media-free zones. Be a good role model. But they don't have to always close their door to be on a screen. It's okay to be in the same room and talk to each other about their digital lives so that they don't feel they have to hide away. And the way that I would define hygge, just to make it really clear, who's heard of mindfulness? Okay, who hasn't heard of mindfulness? It is what's supposed to make us very happy, right? It's being in the moment, present. I believe that Danes have taken mindfulness to another level. For me, hygge is not mindfulness, it's we-fulness. It's giving up for a moment the me for the we. And it is hugely recharging for the soul. It helps families. It's completely changed my American family. It takes a little bit of work, but I think you get massive benefits and well-being. So if you want to learn more about raising digital citizens and the Danish way of parenting, please feel free to check us out here. And also for participants, if anyone's interested, it is only in English right now and Italian, I think. But we've offered a discount code for participants of this event. This is the code. And I just hope that you'll share that don't say no, K-N-O-W. Try less banning, more balance. And know that the digital world is not going away, and we are going to be their biggest ally and mentor. They need us. So build a bridge, not a wall. Thank you.